Hey everyone, welcome to What's New in Azure Data Factory January 2023. We're restarting our monthly live streams, so join us every month to learn more about what's new in Azure Data Factory. So as usual, I will walk you through what's new through our Azure Data Factory monthly update blog, show you where else you can find what's new, and then we'll kind of go through and do a few live demos. Today we also have a really special guest to talk to you about something that we've released recently that we think that everyone will be pretty excited about. So thank you, welcome, join. Okay, cool. Let me switch over. Let's see. Hope that you all can see this. So if you don't know where to find our monthly blog, if you want to just go to aka.ms/ADF blog, that's a quick short link that will bring you to our tech community blog. I'll also drop it in the link or in the description so that you can go and find it pretty quickly. But our monthly updates are pretty distinct. They all have this kind of picture that's darker than all of our other ones, so you can kind of find them pretty quickly. If you click in on it, you can also see that we've labeled them as monthly blog, so you can go ahead and click monthly blog to find all of our monthly blogs. So here you'll find what's new in January 2023. So let me quickly walk you through what's new. So we have a lot of updates. Some of these are from December, so we've just kind of mushed them into our January one. But for flowlets, we now support schema drift. If you want to take a look, you can go through the blog and you can see some screenshots of where you can find how to make that happen. So for example, here, there's a little checkbox that will allow schema drift pretty easily. We also have links to everything in case you want to read more about it, and it'll take you directly to our docs. So also what's new in Dataflow, for SQL CDC, the incremental extract now supports numeric columns. So hopefully that's helpful for you. For data movement, this is something new that dropped in January that people are really excited about, which is the new top-level CDC resource, allowing you to do native CDC configuration in a few simple steps. You might have seen Mark and Krishna talk about that on Reactor. We'll go through this again today as well, so you can see how quick and easy it is. For orchestration, you now have the ability to orchestrate Synapse notebooks and Synapse Spark job definitions natively in ADF. So those are some new activities that you can bring into your pipelines. We've also done some region expansion, so China North 3 and Switzerland West are now supported. For SSIS, Express Virtual Network Injection for SSIS is now generally available. And then as for developer productivity, some of these don't have learn more links, but I can show you them. But we've added support for favoriting resources on your homepage so that you can find things more easily. You can save the column width for pipeline monitoring. You can also monitor, in monitoring, when you filter, we now support faster searches. And you can also directly access the pipeline template gallery through the Azure portal. And that's a pretty easy way for you to jump directly in and start building using some of the examples that we've kind of preceded for you. Awesome. And if you wanted to learn more, feel free to go back and check these out. We also have a link to our What's New docs here. So in our documentation, we also have in our overview what's new in our recent months. And here you can go through and read through, again, all of what's new in Azure Data Factory. And if you wanted to see previous months, you can go through and check those out pretty easily as well. In our documentation as well, we do have this new section right here called What's New in Azure Data Factory, with quick links to documentation that we think will help out. So here, that will take you directly to the link that I had before, which is What's New, and to some of our new big feature releases. So if you've been keeping up with us on socials, CDC has been a big one, and manage airflow. So these are some quick links that take you directly to those sections. Awesome. Cool. So if no one has any questions, I will kind of start to walk you through some of the demos that we have, and then I'll bring on our guest and he can take it away. So while I have you here, what I wanted to show you is some of that new developer productivity stuff. So for example, if you go to our homepage in the ADF Studio, if you hover over some of your recent resources, you now see this little star, and that allows you to add your resource to your favorites. This basically allows you to pin some of your most recent resources to your homepage. So whenever you land in Azure Data Factory, so if I refresh this, what you'll see is that these are saved now at the top, so that you can quickly access them without having to, go to your authoring tab and searching for them, or clicking around and trying to find them. So now you can directly just go click and it should open up for you. So it's right there. So hopefully that's something that's super helpful for you. That's just one of them that we've added that we think will help a lot. Cool. And then something else that was kind of interesting, hopefully I have some in here, but now that we have pipeline, like sometimes your pipeline names are kind of long, and so sometimes they might be cut off, or some of these other information stats might be cut off as well. When you go ahead and edit, previously we wouldn't save your width preferences, but now we do. So once you set it and you refresh and you come back in, all of these should be the same. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to check on all of your information without having to go back and edit and try to do some configuration manually to be able to see what you need to see. So all of that should be there. Cool. Awesome. And then something else that I wanted to bring to your attention before I run through this new change data capture top level resource is that in our preview experience, when we had our something that we had the hierarchy and container view. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. So when you have nested activities, let me debug this for you. In your output, we have this thing here called list view or container view, which kind of simplifies your monitoring experience. So anything that's within a nested activity, so for your for each, you have the option to collapse it so that you can see more of your monitoring activities on one page without having to toggle through and go on multiple different pages. Obviously, this one's not a super crazy pipeline with many activities where you won't be able to see everything on one page. But if it starts to get down, then by collapsing it, you'll be able to see more activities on the single pane. So this is something that we've had in preview experience for a while, and we're actually bringing it out and allowing it to be more of a default experience. So just want to bring that to your attention. But yeah, we can come back to this in a little bit. Anyway, what I wanted to spend a little bit more time on was this new change data capture preview. So it's really exciting because change data capture is really on a lot of people's minds. And this new top-level resource makes it super easy for you to configure change data capture within different data sources to whatever targets you decide in a few simple steps. So I'm going to run through it real quick if you haven't seen it already. But first, you just have to name your mapping. Then These are the sources that we have currently. So Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL, Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Database Managed Instance, SQL Server, Avro Delimited, JSON, ORC, Parquet, and XML. And I actually believe that when we first dropped this in preview, Azure SQL Database MI was not here. So that is now something that we've added in. So if I go in here, I just have to choose my link service. Then I can browse for a folder. For this one, I'll use movies. You can easily preview your data before continuing onwards. And something that I've heard a few people say is that, you have multiple folders, multiple targets that you'd like to capture change data for. What's really cool is that if you click this add button, you can choose another folder as well. So I have a lot of data in here, so I can choose my books. Here you can see in one of my files, this one might not work so well because I think I have a lot of files in that folder, but we'll see what happens. We could do Airbnb. So you can add as many as you'd like. Let's see what else we have in here. Yeah, I think we can just do. And whatever you don't want to use, you can go back and remove it. Then you'll continue. Then you can select your target type. So these are the targets that we have. Again, Azure SQL Database Managed Instance is new, but that is now one of our supported targets. The other ones that we support are Azure SQL Database, Avro Delimited, Delta, JSON, ORC, and Parquet, with more to come. But for now, I'll just choose my Azure SQL Database. So we will auto-create some tables for you, but if these are not okay with you, you can click Edit, and you can go ahead and change the schema or the names. So I think I'll just change these to test. And I think I already have a movies table, so I'll call this movies live stream. Cool. And that's all you have to do. And that brings you into our CDC studio, I guess, if you would like to call it that. And here you can see already that it's kind of auto-mapped from your source to target already. So I had my source folder, Airbnb, it's kind of mapped it already to my target table. And that makes it really easy for you, especially if you do have multiple sources, multiple targets that you're trying to configure for. But if it's not what you'd like, we have the drop down and you can go ahead and easily map it around. We also make it super easy for you to continue to add new mappings. So if you wanted to say, if you had another mapping that you'd like, you can just here and then find whatever other folder that you have and choose the target that you wanted to map it to. If you wanted to go back and edit your sources and targets to add more tables or take away tables, down here where it says source and target, you can click this add or remove tables button. It'll bring you back to that guided process. You can go ahead and, remove it or add anything back in. Cool. So also what's really cool is that we do have auto column mapping to help make your life easier as well. And you can go in and pick and, do whatever edits that you'd like using the column mapping button. And so since this is a new table that I'm creating, it's kind of just mapped it directly from whatever my source column name was and kind of kept the same name. But if you haven't seen data flows yet, in data flows, we have this super handy thing called data preview. If you click on refresh, it'll show you what your data will look like in your target. So let's see what happens here. So looks like these are a little bit wonky. So this is on me. My data is a little bit weird. So if we go to movies, you'd be able to see this one a little bit better. So here you go. You can see all my data. If you are familiar with data flows, you also have the option to export the CSV. So you can export the current page, or you can export top 1,000 rows. And then you can go and double check and make sure everything looks okay for you. We also do have direct mapping right now, but what you can go in and do is add some data transformations. So for example, if I wanted to do something quick like change all of my strings to upper, if I refresh this, you'd be able to see that name all becomes uppercase. So here it is. Oops. It's being a little funky. But yeah, so you see everything here is in uppercase now. So we allow you to do those quick data transformations here. If you need to do any aggregate functions, we have these as well. And if you want to do anything advanced, click advanced, and then that brings up the expression builder. So if you wanted to do some coding or use these expressions that we have, you have the option to do that as well for customized transformations. Awesome. So when all of that looks good, make sure that you can set your latency. So this just determines the cadence in which we're checking for change data. Something that is coming soon is that real time, less than 1 minute. That one I think we're pretty excited about. If you haven't seen Mark and Krishna on Reactor, they actually do a quick demo on that. So I'll link it in our description so you can go through and like watch it and see it come out, or see like a sneak preview of it. And it is coming soon, so be very excited about that. So once everything looks good, all you have to do is make sure to publish. Hopefully this works. My factory's been a little bit weird lately. So I hope it goes off without a hitch. But if not, totally cool as well. We have other demo videos. But mainly for this, I just wanted to show you that you can capture multiple, you can capture change data from multiple sources to multiple targets. Yeah, sorry guys. I think I've been messing around with a bunch of different things and it's not saving right now. But point being said, once you publish, the start button will ungray and you can click start, and that's all you have to do. It'll start to run. You won't really have to do anything except for monitor it to see what's happening. And monitoring is pretty easy. All you have to do is click on this handy dandy link monitoring this mapping, or you can click on this button up here, monitor, or you can go to your monitoring tab if that's what you're used to, and you have this new section called Change Data Capture. Cool? Awesome. I know I haven't talked. Oh, I see a question. I haven't seen any official docs on pipeline turn values that appeared yesterday. Docs are on the way. So you should expect that sometime today or tomorrow. And of course, we'll make sure to share that with you on Twitter and on YouTube and everywhere else that you normally get information from us as well. So keep an eye out for that. They are coming. And that is an exciting new feature that we will talk about next month. So anyway, I do have a special guest, so I am going to bring him on. Today, we also have Abhishek joining us, and he is actually going to be sharing more about managed airflow to everyone. So welcome, Abhishek. Do you want me to bring you onto the screen? Do you have something that
Hey everyone. Hey Noel, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I hope everyone else can
Awesome.
hear you as well.
Awesome. So welcome everyone. So the feature that I want to talk about right now is managed airflow, and I'll quickly go through it It's going to be a very short demo. For folks who are not aware of what Apache Airflow is, Apache Airflow is one of the most popular and widely adopted OSS projects for programmatic orchestration of data workflows. So, in case if you're a Python dev and you want to orchestrate, different data processes, Airflow is one of those options in the market that is available to you. So, we've been constantly hearing this feedback from customers that while pipeline works super awesome because it's visual, it's code free, there are certain use cases, things like lift and shift or existing effort has been gone into building Apache Airflow DAGs. DAGs basically stand for directed acyclic graphs, which is basically the definition of a pipeline in Airflow in Python. And so we get this ask frequently from customers, and we thought let's bring the best of the breeds, the open source solution with the highly scalable data factory, highly managed data factory service, so that we can make this and provide value to customers by offering this as a managed service on top of data factory. So you get multiple options to choose from for orchestration. You can use even SSIS or data pipelines, which is very visual. And then you have now Apache Airflow. So before I get started with the demo, quick thing, the key features that we are launching along with this is currently in public preview. So you would expect a few features still rolling out at this point in time. But things or key features that I would want to talk about, which really takes the pain away from customers who have been building on Apache Airflow on Azure, is things like automatic airflow environment setup. It's just going to be a few clicks and you can have an airflow environment running up and running for you. Auto scaling of workers. I know in big data world auto scaling is a big challenge, and we are fully committed in solving that problem as well for Apache Airflow. Then you have built-in AD authentication, which is single sign-on experience, bringing that to Apache Airflow so that users can use their Azure credentials, the AD credentials to log in, and they can build custom roles on top of it and get fine-grained role-based access control. Quite a common ask across many ADF customers. And then you have built-in security, CMK. So all these clusters can be encrypted using customers managed key as well, which gives you extra protection on top of additional double encryption on top of Microsoft encryption that we already do on top of your metadata. It also promises you with streamlined upgrades and patches. Again, a pain point when you manage your own Apache Airflow environments. How do you manage the upgrades, security patches, and so on? We are fully committed in automatically rolling those out without breaking your existing DAGs. And then enterprise workflow monitoring through Azure Monitor. So we wanted again to bring best of the breed monitoring solution, which is Azure Monitor Log Analytics and Apache Airflow together. Of course, you can use Apache Airflow plugins to emit out data into the sources that you would want. It can integrate with many monitoring tools, but on top of that, we made sure that it integrates natively with Azure Monitor. You can use log analytics. You can see metrics. You can set up metrics using the visual UI. Say when a pipeline starts to fail, or sorry, when a DAG starts to fail more than 10 times, notify me via an email, kind of thing. These things are available in Airflow. You can configure them, but then you get these features out of the box with managed Airflow on Azure. And then there's beautiful Azure integrations. You can call ADF pipeline. You can leverage data flows for visual transformations. It runs on Spark on a managed Spark cluster. You don't have to manage that. So we have those beautiful high-scale transformation engine and data movement engine with copy, and the ADF pipeline which orchestrates that. And you can build more of an enterprise-grade solution orchestrating each one of these cross-factory, cross-synapse workspaces using Airflow tags. And so it kind of provides you with rich Azure integrations. Now, I'll quickly cover the last slide, which is the new thing that we are coming up with. So you see on the right side, the new capability that we are introducing with this is now you can bring your existing Airflow tags. Tags are equivalent to pipelines written in Python. It has multiple tasks and operators in it, and it's called directed acyclic graphs. And then it enables existing customers invested on Airflow, as well as customers who are interested in Airflow in terms of writing Python orchestration engine, and then modernizing with Microsoft Data Integration. They can now leverage this managed Airflow offering and then build their solutions on top of it. And how do you get started? So it's pretty simple. All you have to do is create a new Airflow environment And if you have done this before, setting up Airflow using using VMs, you would have known what the pain, how much of a pain it is. You have to start with infrastructure creation. You may not have permissions to do so at times. You might ask for elevated permissions to kind of create those VMs, set up those Python packages, set up those containers, and then install the required Python libraries and Airflow versions, and then keep managing that over the time. Now with this, you just hit a click create button, and you'll be able to create the Airflow environments as per your desire configuration. Then you can start importing your DAG files. We support import from blob storage. We support imports from ADLS Gen 2. So you have to put your code files into blob storage or Gen 2, and then click on the import button. We have APIs for each of these actions that I'm talking about. And then you can monitor the DAG runs using the beautiful Airflow UI. You can log in, and now quickly let's get into the demo and show you each of these step by step. So you can get
Oh,
started by just.
sorry to
Mhm.
cut you off real quick. Did you want me to share your screen, or do you have a screen that
Oh
you'd like
yeah,
to share?
I thought I was sharing my screen. No.
No, sorry.
Okay, let's present my screen. Share screen. I am such an ass. Sorry, my bad.
Good
And
information
I was
though.
I was sharing all the slides I had prepared. Unfortunately, all these slides went off waste. But nonetheless, you called it out before the demos. So let's now quickly jump into the demos. So how you get started with this offering? First of all, this is in public preview, so it's available only in limited region, and you can check our documentation to find which regions it's available in. You would need a data factory in that region. You can just log in into adf.azure.com. It brings you to the short link where you can create a new data factory if you have an Azure subscription, or you can choose an existing factory. So let's choose an existing factory in my case. And I have a demo factory 101. And what you would see here is I have a bunch of Airflow environments, and how you can access them is via the Manage Hub over here. You can click on the Manage Hub, and you can now see Airflow Preview. And mind it, you have to be in the region that's available, otherwise you won't see this option. And once this is there, you can get started by quickly creating on plus new, and you can set up a new environment. The things that we have added on is the Azure AD authentication, which is very cool in the sense that we have integrated AD with the open source Apache Airflow so that you can log in as a user using your Active Directory user account, and it's audited. You can do a fine grain ACL on top of that user ID using the Apache Airflow custom roles, so you get all those benefits there. You can choose between small and large, and each one of them have different size of workers. We are gonna open up auto scale soon. Auto scale will help you scale the workers within a given limit. Right now, you can add extra nodes to the cluster and choose the Airflow version. So we support 1.x and 2.4.3, and we'll keep it auto updated. As we go through the preview, we'll be creating kind of a default version, which if you choose, will get auto updated to the minor versions. And then we let you override the Airflow configuration, environment variables, and also provide Airflow requirements. Airflow requirements are things like Python provider packages that you want to install so that your DAGs can reference to. Think of it like libraries. And it's super simple. So Airflow has huge amount of provider packages. So in this case, I'm just going to add a Databricks provider package to this cluster. I can specify version number as well in case if your code is kind of depending on a particular version, or I can just leave it to the default version. And that's how easy and simple it is to create an Airflow environment in just a few clicks. I took time to run you through each one of these options, but in reality, it's just going to take a few seconds, 2 minutes, about 15 to 20 minutes to set up this whole environment. I did start another environment sometime back when Noel was presenting, and both of them are in the starting state. But nonetheless, due to the time that we have, I'll run you through an existing Airflow environment. So you saw how we create an environment. I'll quickly show you how you import files so that you can have your DAGs up and running on these. So we provide you with the import command so you can easily import your existing DAGs from a storage account. And in this case, I have a storage account with the Airflow container, which contains the DAGs folder and the plugins folder. So I'll just go there and make sure that you choose a path which contains a DAGs folder. you can have plugins, whatever locally you are running on Airflow, the file system. You can clone that on a blob storage and import that particular path. And we will make sure we import it into the Airflow cluster as well. So this is now going to import the files into Airflow 1 environment. And then we'll be able to launch the Airflow 1 environment. And you will see now a single sign-on experience in that. It logs in into that environment, and you can see it uses my credentials here. If you go to your profile, it shows my username. I'm the admin, and I can create custom roles in case if I wish to. But I can monitor my DAGs, and I have one of my DAGs which is running ADF pipelines. One of the runs succeeded, but multiple runs which failed. I can go inside these runs, monitor them, monitor the detailed logs, find the run IDs that was generated by the ADF pipeline in this particular case, monitor this using the Airflow UI. So this is how we bring the integration between best of breed tools within ADF, which is Apache Airflow, Azure Monitor, and Azure Data Factory together into a single offering. So that was the demo on my side. Back to you, Noel.
Oops, sorry, having some slow technical difficulties on my computer. Thank you, Abhishek, for doing that quick demo on Manage Airflow. I know we've been talking about it a lot, so if you haven't seen it already, we do have a lot of links on our socials. Abhishek also did an hour-long deep dive on Reactor yesterday as well. So if you were able to make that, great. If you weren't, I will also include that link in our description so you can go back through and check it out on your own time. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via YouTube comments or on Twitter, or if you have any feedback for us, also let us know through our social channels or let us know on ideas. I know we're a little bit over, but thank you all for joining this morning, or afternoon or night, wherever you are. We're just glad that you can be here. Again, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comments, and we'll try to get back to them as soon as we can. And just give me a day or two to update the description so that you have all the resources that you need to learn more about all these fun new things in Azure Data Factory. And keep an eye out for a lot of interesting things dropping this month as well. A lot of you have seen already on Twitter pipeline return values. That's a big thing. So we will start to share more information on that. So thank you all for joining. We will see you next month.